Oh wow, we already got people in the chat. Damn. What's going on? I just figured I would have the start streaming their stream starting soon screen up while we have like a minute to go. So, what's going on everyone? For those that are watching the VOD back or the video back, however way you want to put it, this is your boy as always, Uchi. And I'm here back again once again. I definitely need to get like a soundboard for streams like this. But I thought it would be a lot better for you guys, especially for those that have been waiting. And I'm very sorry as always, for the live reviews that I've, been keeping up with for Black Clover and Boruto. But no excuses. You guys already know, what's going on with me. Kind of on a personal level, not really, but you guys are aware that, I have other things that I need to attend to, especially in regards to like my family. So again, shout outs to you guys for understanding. And I did figure that, doing this in this kind of format would be viable, considering that I literally just binged through about 5 episodes worth of anime, and I literally took notes just so that I could do this review for you guys the right way. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys get something, good out of this. I hope this is good enough in comparison to what I already put out for you guys. I mean, naturally, even me personally, I don't know, like I love doing the video in the video format, but I mean sometimes just doing the streams is a lot easier just so that it's live and you guys can hear me, on the fly. So anyway, let's not get too caught up with that. I will address some of the comments. What's going on, guys? I'll say what's up to no. I see Black Star. I see him in there. What's going on, everyone? Savage the Kid, Enoch, Sonny, Anime Weave, Chris Scout, of course, Lost Gar. What is going on, everyone? Thanks again for tuning in to this live review. Oh snap! You know what? I just totally forgot to do tags. So I guess I'm gonna do that right now, really quick. And while that's going on, I hope you guys are doing well. I should hopefully be able to simply reference the chat while I'm doing this, so that way we're not totally behind track here. But yeah, the point of this stream obviously is to get my thoughts, my review, and my further speculation on Black Clover and Boruto respectively. Okay, so yeah, pretty much as simple as that. And normally, like, you guys might be here wondering where the live reviews are, or formerly known as reactions. If you guys didn't notice, I've been calling my formerly known as reactions live reviews now, because all of my stuff I really want to consider review content, and that's exactly what that is, and I've been treating it as such. So I hope that it's something that you guys can adapt with and be cool with calling them that from now on. I didn't make it like a big deal. Like, I just started just calling them live reviews of my thumbnails. So I mean, it is what it is. But let's see. We got, yeah, I'll just put those tags up. That's fine. All right. So without further ado, I've wasted enough time right now. And let's see. Okay, so I guess without a further ado, guys, we are going to just get right into it. And we're gonna first, obviously, we're gonna talk about the Black Clover episodes I just watched first. Okay, so first and foremost, I just want to say that Black Clover is really picking it up for me, and like, not even just like now, but like, you guys should know this. I have been a super advocate for this anime, for this series, ever since it started. And for those that don't realize this, Black Clover, like, everyone wants to just give praise to My Hero Academia, but let me be real with you guys. For those that don't know and aren't aware, Black Clover is literally only behind My Hero Academia by 24 chapters, if you want to count the manga. Okay, that is only like, that's basically 2 volumes, maybe 3, pushing 3 volumes worth of material They came out in the same year, okay? My Hero Academia, you guys want to love on My Hero Academia? That's fine. I love on My Hero Academia, but do not sleep on Black Clover. I always say this. So without further ado, we're gonna go episode by episode. I broke everything down from 57, 58, and 59 since I can't believe I missed 3 episodes like in sequence like that. That's wild. But anyway, let's get right into it. So episode 57. We're starting. They start us off with introducing us to the Supreme Queen of Witches. Now, I thought her design was actually kind of pretty. It was pretty dope. I feel like that's a character that I could see. A lot of female cosplayers doing as cosplay. She has a pretty interesting a pretty interesting look, and the fact that she's actually super busted is OD. All right, so moving right along, Vanessa left, and they think that she went back. So and then I'm sorry. So the Queen of Witches, she knows that Vanessa left like forever ago, and now she knows that she's like within the vicinity, and because of that, she obviously plans on keeping her there, and the crew with that's with Asta right now. They figured that that's where Vanessa went because I forget her name, but Zell's wife, she knows who she was, and she was like, oh, like she probably went there because that's where we're gonna go, and if she does, then like she'll never come back. All right, so then after that, they all head out. Then Vanessa confronts the witch, the Queen of Witches, says that she'll go back only if she learns how to perform the dispelling magic. So here we obviously are immediately met with the end result or the solution in healing Asta's arms. And of course, like it was definitely something that we at first, like probably like in the heat of the moment, we're just like, oh my god, like how are they gonna really do my man Asta like that? He's a main character. Like how they gonna But again, I knew that as soon as that happened, it was just gonna be like, okay, that's their next objective. They're gonna figure out how to get this man's arms back because he can only fight with his freaking teeth for so long. Okay. But either way, we already know how Asta is. Asta's our boy. This guy will fight just about anybody, and he will, have the fighting spirit and motivation to just, kick anyone's ass with no magic because he don't even need it. He just cussed that John. But moving right along, before they go into the forest, which is where the Queen of Witches and all the rest of the witches are at, okay? Zell's wife, which I apologize for forgetting her name at this. I totally airheaded out here, and I did not even pay attention enough to catch her name or to write it down or to find it after because I just kind of wanted to do the stream. So she whips out these Harry Potter cloaks. I called them the Harry Potter cloaks because I totally forget what they were called in Harry Potter, but they're these kind of cloaks that basically acted the same way. If you guys know what I'm talking about, they were used to basically hide them, make them invisible. It looked like, and to hide their magic presence. So that way, because once they entered, if they entered like normal, they would have been detected by like these golem-looking things. And apparently, according to the dialogue in the episode, that these golems, literally, if they detect anything, they will just shoot you down until you have all these holes in your body and you're dead. So kind of OD security, if you ask me. And then on the side, we see someone watching them. So at first I was like, oh, like who the hell is that? But I should have known. Dude was wearing a white robe. Obviously here, this is the Eye of the Midnight Sun. So moving right along, they get caught by the golem right here. So because Zell got his cloak caught in the damn tree. And this man just cannot stay with the clothes on. I don't understand. Like no matter what he does, he will always end up being like declothed. That's not even a word, but like they will always find a way to straight up just like like look at him. Like in this shot alone, this is pretty much like right after they made it through and they got up to where the Queen of Witches was. And again, like thankfully he has some pants on this time around. Normally this man's butt ass naked, and his wife's always beating him up for it because she's like so in love with him, but at the same time she's like literally giving him a black eye because he just no matter what he does, he literally finds himself naked. So they almost get caught. They're like trying to avoid all these golems and stuff, and then they finally end up before the Queen of Witches. So they finally find the witch, and they find her, not just her just sitting there at her throne. No, they find her like with Vanessa beaten beneath her foot. Like, I don't like. So beforehand, we see like a small scene where like Vanessa, like, she basically goes up to the Queen of Witches and is like, I need you to teach me the dispelling thing, like the magic, and I you know, you need to do this or else. Blah. I don't think she said, I don't know. She definitely didn't say or else, because, you know, she's not like that. Queen of Witches will just kill her on the spot, if anything. But yeah, so this is where they're at. They're literally before the Queen of Witches with Vanessa like beneath her foot, so she got bodied clearly, right? And then after some verbal back and forth between Asta and company, the Queen of Witches detects the Eye of the Midnight Sun approaching, and at this point is very reminiscent to what they had just got done with the, I think it was the Clover Kingdom in the last arc that they No. I'm sorry, not the Clover Kingdom. It was still the Eye of the Midnight Sun, you know, because they were fighting off that other beast guy, who I already forget his name because Asta just bodied him so hard that it wiped my memory of his. I think it was like something with a Z, like Zeto, maybe. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that right now, but that was episode 57 in a nutshell right there. So again, I thought it was a pretty good episode. It was one of the setup episodes that they had to obviously perform in order to, you know, get to the meat and bones of what's to come in this in this section of Black Clover. I thought it was really good. It was very enjoyable. Just to see the interactions between the Queen of Witches and the rest of the gang, and not to mention the pacing of this episode was done very well. I actually enjoyed it a lot. And like they didn't, you know, it didn't feel dragged on, and it didn't feel like they were wasting any time. Like, you know, I thought that, like, if anything, if they were to find the witch, they would have, you know, like, I'm almost used to, you know, anime that like they like prolong you so hard, like, and it's like, if you're lucky, if you see like the last 2 seconds before the ending song hits, it's like, oh, like, damn, like that's the queen. Or like they just show her in the preview, and then in the next episode you can look forward to it. But unfortunately, that is not how it is. So we got a nice interaction moving right along, and it sets us up right into the next episode, episode 58. So without further ado, we're just gonna go right into episode 58. Okay, now episode 58 was very, very good. I enjoyed this one a lot. So they start us off with Fauna the Hateful. Now Fauna is one of the leading folks over there in the Eye of the Midnight Sun. She's like one of the top dogs over there. So if Veto, I think his name was Veto. Yeah. The dude's name was Veto that Asa defeated in the last arc. When you know, he freaking bodied him with the first opening theme song. Like, come on, that was probably one of the best moments of Black Clover today. So Fauna is basically one of those top dogs in that team, on that group, and she is the one that took out Asta's arms. All right, now through some other dialogue amongst the Eye of the Midnight Sun, there were some other characters that were involved, some other generals, if you will. They brought up that there was also a magic stone that was within the forest. And what's funny about this is that they did not plan on going to the forest of the witches, you know, with the intention of trying to pick up another magic stone. That they're only there because they want to heal Asta's arms. They want to find out if there's a possible cure. And I like how they build this up, because it's like, wow, like they actually might just, you know, kill two birds with one stone. Because I mean, of course, they're gonna have to go through all of this fighting that is about to take place now. But, you know, I'm sure once everything's settled and done with, that's just, you know, my speculation that, you know, maybe that will be their reward if, you know, all is well and everyone comes out clean and, you know, no one's dead or something like that. And not to mention, I will also add, it's not even just the Eye of the Midnight Sun that is here on this, basically like this whole war that's about to go down. Like it's like this whole breach that is literally about to go down in the Forest of Witches. Like it is the Eye of the Midnight Sun teaming up with the freaking Diamond Knight from the Clover, like from the Diamond Kingdom. Whew, like you want to talk about like putting all your nasty foes, like the nasty villains all lined up together. Like, bruh, this John was OD, okay? Like, I tell you what, my guys, it was definitely a sight to see. It kind of gave me a little reminiscing feelings from the Ninja War when you see all the villains and stuff. But that's kind of how I felt with that one, right? So, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so here we are. So here we go. So she uses flame magic to take out the forest and its people. Now, Fauna is riding on this salamander, which just straight up, I'm not gonna lie to you, it looks like a dragon. Okay, it looks like Charizard in another universe. Like this is Universe 6 Charizard, Universe 11 Charizard, however you wanna put it. Okay, Fauna is riding along this John, and she does this flame magic that one shot. You know, it doesn't completely just ruin the entire forest, but it does a pretty good number on it to, you know, get the entire, you know, village people that, I call them village people, that people that were inhabiting the forest, they were in panic. Everyone's running around trying to escape from this attack that they're, you know, about to, you know, go through. And the Queen of Witches, obviously, she had detected and sensed and felt their presence already. All right. Now, like I said, the Diamond Kingdom is also with Fauna and company, and of course, because of that, we see Mars. Now, you guys, I don't know if you guys realize this, but ever since they showed Mars in the new opening song, you know your boy has been hella hyped, because Mars, I have always had a liking for ever since season 1, because in my opinion, Mars reminds me heavily of Gaara, and because of how Asta is, I feel like they're going to have a similar dynamic here where Asta will we'll see what happens in the coming episodes, help, you know, Mars and Fauna, because I'm going to get to that in a second, realize like where they came from, or like who they are as individual people, or like maybe correct some of the truths that they think have been true, that they have been real lies, and you know, to basically give them a whole new purpose, and you know, that kind of dynamic, if you guys are feeling what I'm saying. And I'm literally like so excited, and the fact that I even caught on within this opening theme song, I was like, hold up, this Fauna chick, like the girl with the pink hair, like we didn't really see too much of her in the last arc where Asta defeated Veto, I think his name was, and we see her like very, you know, briefly, and I was like, you know, I feel like I've seen her before, and I have, and especially with seeing a little bit more of her within that opening theme song, and now seeing them kind of like back to back, but they weren't back to back at all. They were pretty much on like opposite sides of their whole like invasion that was going on. That is the girl that Mars was associated with back in the day during like this time where they were trying to like create like these perfect mages or something, where they could like perform multitudes of different magic abilities, and Mars was like the successor, if you will, I guess. I don't know if that's a lack of a better term, but Mars came out of that whole scenario. Like the only way to, you know, overcome that was to simply kill every other child or person that was involved in this like fight to the death of survival, so that way, you know, whoever won was, you know, chosen to, you know, go on and do whatever it is that they were sought to do. And what we all were originally, if I'm remembering this correctly, now it's been a long time since I've seen those episodes and read those parts in the manga, is that Mars killed this girl, which was his sister. Now, if you fast forward to now, it's like, hold up, that's his sister, but she's still she's here, she's alive, and she has memories, and we're gonna get to that. All right. Now, a couple other things I want to mention about Mars is that Asta was happy that he was alive. That's like one of the first things he said. He's like, "Oh my God, I remember him. Oh man, I'm glad he's alive." And then Zell, even more interesting enough, Zell said that he recognized him as well. Like he knew who he was. So again, Zell is one of those characters that they kind of just like dropped on us. And like yeah, like in the anime, like they did him some justice. They at least gave him like 2 episodes of backstory to help us understand that okay, Zell has actually been around since like the beginning of Black Clover, but they just never showed us to him. It's natural, it happens, whatever, I guess, right? And Zell is like one of the most interesting characters because he still feels very new, obviously because they just showed him to us, and we want to know more about him. That's what happens when characters are introduced. You just want to know like what they're all about, their backstory, what they can do, and who they know. So of course Zell, being that character, he already recognizes Mars. So we're kind of like I'm waiting to see exactly what goes down. And then we're also introduced to another character. His name is Ladros. So Ladros is basically another dude that's like one of the lead guys over there in the Diamond Kingdom alongside Mars. All right, so they're the 2 guys that are pretty much representing these dudes. Ladros, I forget the term, but it was like they were part of the 8 something something. All right, I apologize for not getting that information for you guys. Next time I'll definitely try to do a better job. But again, like I said before, I was just trying to get these episodes down packed and taking these notes and giving you guys this review so that way we can get moving right along, hopefully get back on a proper schedule with these live reviews in the future. So moving right along, Vanessa wakes up and sees Yami and Asta. So there's clearly, through these episodes, we're learning a lot more about Vanessa because we've only seen this girl just be a drunk. She's always like half naked in a bra, panties, and this girl's always on some booze, all right? She's always drinking and, being all sloppy and stuff like that. And we don't really see any other characteristics to her until like recently, like especially when she helped out Asta alongside Finral in defeating Veto in the first place. And ever since then, that's when we've kind of been diving a little bit more into Vanessa as a whole. And not gonna lie, when you see what kind of like characteristics this girl has, it's like wow, you almost forget that she's a freaking drunk bimbo. I'm not gonna go into, but anyway, you almost forget about that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we learned that there was definitely some kind of love interest that she had with Yami, the captain of the Black Bulls. Whether Yami knows this or not, Yami is definitely, I can tell, is definitely one of the sole reasons why Vanessa decided to pick up and leave the forest of the witches. Because normally that is something that I guess is not really done, because the witches are basically raised to believe that they are the superior beings and that they don't need men, blah blah blah. Shout outs to Jerome Smith. The Ladros and Mars are part of the 8 Shining Generals. Thank you very much for that correction. Okay, here we go. So and then continue off. So Asta rips off bandages to pull his sword out of his grimoire. Okay, now this part was pretty epic because I thought that he was about to do some like crazy stuff somehow without his arms. I like, and in the heat of the moment, I was like, "What are you about to do right now?" Like I was ready. Like I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" Like what? Like what? Nah. But really, all he did was he ripped off his bandages. He took out his sword with his mouth. Out of his grimoire, of course, and of course he fell because this poor kid is all busted up, hurt. His arms are like cursed, can't use them. But the interesting part that I took note here is the queen recognizes his weapon. So we are going to learn very soon what the significance is behind Asta's weapon, this anti-magic weapon that he wields. Especially because this queen knows about it. And I feel like once we get, closer to that portion, we're probably going to learn a little bit more on the backstory of that. And I'm pretty sure it quite possibly will tie into this demon form Asta that obviously it's they freaking showing it off like completely, like, here it is, guys, like it's gonna happen. Like they've been, within, I think, like the season 2 cover, you could see it like in the design, even in the opening theme songs. They've been teasing at this John hard. So of course, and this is obviously not a spoiler because I don't even read the manga for Black Clover right now, not yet, I should say. That it's bound to happen sooner than later at this point for sure. So Vanessa is reminded of Yami and Asta, like I said before, for his belief in thinking it would be stupid to sacrifice one of his friends for his arms, because originally Vanessa was there, and the deal that she was about to wager or waver with the Queen of Witches was that she was going to basically give up her freedom just so that Asta could have his arms back. But Asta was not about that life. He was like, man, I'll be damned if I have a friend of mine sacrifice their freedom just so that I could get my arms back. Like he said he would pretty much rather not. So again, obviously, shout outs to Asta for being himself, because this is the kind of character that he is. He's very selfless, and all he wants to do is, look out for his friends, look out for the people that he cares about, protect them, so on and so forth. We go move on to Noelle talking to the Queen. Right after this whole right after this little segment here, Noelle basically takes charge, and she goes ahead, talks to the Queen. She talks to the Queen into healing Asta, which she then agrees to heal him and to make his arms even more sturdy. But to herself, she says in her her own mind that she still plans to take Vanessa back, and to take Asta's sword for herself. Now I thought, like I said, this adds on to the whole mystique-y feeling around Asta's weapon. I mean, we already knew there's something there has to be something OD about the stuff that Asta is wielding. There has to be some greater transcendent being that's is involved here that even selected Asta to be the wielder of this. So obviously, as the story progresses, we will see what happens. Okay, and then of course after this, she heals Asta in an instant. Like I said, the pacing is amazing. Even though sometimes they have episodes where they have to set up and there's not too much action, but again, what anime doesn't do that? That's over a long period of time, there needs to be some cooldown for some build up, and the pacing, they didn't BS around it. They didn't beat around the bush. They didn't wait until the enemies got closer. This woman, this witch, straight up was like, okay, fine. Because, of course, she realized through, obviously, the talk that Noelle just had with her, the convincing, really, is just that, hey, you're a queen. You're trying to look out for your people. You're trying to protect your whole area here. And you got a whole army of people from both the Diamond Kingdom and the Eye of the Midnight Sun basically rampaging on us right now. You're gonna need all the help you need. As great as you are, you're still gonna need help, because come on now, that's OD, that's ridiculous, right? So she's like, you're right, blah blah blah. I ain't gonna hold you. Bam, heals Asta in 2 seconds. She does this I don't even remember what it was called, but it was some crazy recovery magic. Asta ends up in some see-through purple orb, and just like that, in a snap of fingers, his curse was removed altogether. And then, like she said, she made his arms a little bit more sturdy. Now he didn't get beefier arms or anything. They basically look exactly the same, but I mean, Asta is hard to the steel plate as they come. I mean, this man, what does he do? He has no magic, so guess what? He pulls a Rock Lee Mike guy, Goku out here. He's over here freaking doing 150,047,000 push-ups, strength training, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So Asta is in it to win it. Okay. Now after this, Zell. Before they go out and fight, Zell goes and says he wants to deal with the Diamond Boys. All right. Well, he didn't say that, but that's how I wrote it down. He wants to deal with Mars and Vadros, and he says, and I quote, that he has unfinished business with the two of them. So again, adding more emphasis and depth to Zell, my man, has literally only been in this anime for a few freaking episodes, and he is so freaking interesting. And you know, I'm all for it. Like, I'm really all for it. It just makes me want to see, you know, more of what he's about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really can't wait to see exactly what his unfinished business is with Vadros, and especially with Mars. Okay, and then we are introduced to this big ass green monster, which is called the Queen's Golem. And this dude is throwing boulders, straight up boulders, at the oncoming enemies, which unfortunately it was taken out. It was taken out like hella quick, like, you know, shortly thereafter. Zell's wife suggests that they split, as quote unquote it's the only way they'll be able to manage against the Diamond Kingdom foes. And why that might be, we don't know yet. We'll gonna have to stay tuned and find out. And lastly, Asta requests to be propelled up towards the eye of the Midnight Sun and uses some of them as stepping stones mid-air, and even takes out one of their generals and reflects a salamander fire magic attack from Fauna. Now, we're going to get more into the salamander because I took a lot of notes about the salamander because they had a lot of really good juicy stuff to say about the salamander. But again, this is just another testament to how powerful Asta actually is. And because of that showing, and because of his fearlessness, it literally motivates and inspires like the rest of his peers and his companions to just fight alongside him. Like, they make it, like, I think it was Vanessa that said this, that Asta makes it easier to just have no fear, because when you're fighting alongside him, it makes you feel silly to even think that you should be scared or anything like that. And man, I just think that that's awesome. Like, it's so cool. Like, even like we think that we know Asta at a certain level, at a certain degree, right? But then like we keep having these different interactions and different fights and occasions that go down, and man, it's like this kid just keeps getting deeper and deeper within his own character. I just love it, you know? Like, this man just got his arms healed, and there's a whole army of people coming at him. What does he do? He says, "Throw me up there. I have an idea." Basically pulls a Sonic the Hedgehog and goes, "Brong, brong, brong." And like he goes from one to the next and takes out one of the generals. And then reflects the salamander fire magic. So moving right along, again, well, before I move to episode 59, the last episode of this Black Clover review here, is that, again, I really enjoyed the episode. This episode had a very good balance between dialogue and action, because, again, Asta had just got his arms back, and then they did give us that scene at the end that was very, I don't want to say it was, like, very fast-paced, but it was fast enough to the point where it was like, oh damn, like they're already putting in work. Like, oh damn, Fauna's already trying to take Asta out. Like, oh damn, like Asta said yeet and just gave that John back, had the receipt. And you know, like I thought it was great. I was in tune, and it was a fun episode, definitely really cool to watch. So again, guys, at this point, it's like, come on, there's no excuse. You guys need to be watching Black Clover if you haven't already. All right, so moving right along, episode 59. Fauna starts off with the attack to Asta, Vanessa, and Finral. Now, here we go. This is the part where I wanted to talk a little bit more about the salamander. So the salamander is said to have the highest attack power of the 4 great spirits. So right off the bat, we already learned that, wow, so they have like some really strong ass creatures that are involved in this story of Black Clover. When we'll see the other 3, who knows? Is Asta gonna get one? Who knows? Is Yuno gonna, we don't know. We don't know if they're out there in the wild. We don't know if they are already along, like partnered up with someone else. We don't know how Fauna got the salamander. Who knows if it was given to her? Who knows if she got it on her own? That's a lot of questions that we still have no answers for. What we do know is that it has the highest attack power of the 4 of them. So who knows if the other 3 specialize in, like, the highest defense or the highest speed or whatever. But the salamander Charizard lookalike, okay, from another universe, has the highest power okay, and they compared it to matching that of a military power of an entire nation. So just to put into perspective for you guys, this one creature is basically like a tailed beast in Naruto, if you want to compare it, and that's totally cool. I'm totally cool with that. I'm like, damn, like this is dope. Like they got 4 gray spirits, and this John right here, like has enough power to basically be an entire military of their own, like an entire nation. Like that's insane. That's insane. So, but of course, that does not show any kind of fear within our boy Asta. He freaking goes up there and he just slashes it right in the chest, right then and there, like no fear at all whatsoever. So then, Asta wants to talk. Before he even continues any more fighting, right? So he slashes in the chest, the salamander in the chest, and then Asta says he puts his swords down. He stakes them right into the ground. He goes. He wants to talk with Fana. He says, "Why do you hate the Clover Kingdom so much?" And as soon as he said that, this is the first time we're seeing Asta. Or I'm sorry, we're seeing Fana have like these flashback memory sections where she's thinking back to events that took place in her life, but from how she's been acting, it seems like she's been brainwashed. Okay, and that's probably what those diamonds on her head represented. But of course, in this picture that I have here, yeah, there's no diamonds because we're gonna get to that in a sec. So of course, after that, she snaps out of it and they continue fighting. Fana gets triggered to think of this flashback with Liched. I think what looks like to be the first Wizard King. I'm not sure. It has to be a Wizard King of some sort. I think it was probably a young Julius, or no, it definitely wasn't a Julius. What am I saying? He didn't look like Julius at all. That's why I was like, I wrote down the first Wizard King with a question mark. I'm not sure, and the elf people. And in this flashback, we see the humans attacked them. So she thought, or so they were saying. And this moment right here is what breaks the diamond on her head and awakens this third eye. So what you guys are looking at right now, this is literally straight after that scene happens. That's what happens. She just becomes woken, yes, and straight up just goes like insane. All right. And not to mention, not only does she have some kind of awakening, the salamander also had some sort of an evolution or awakening, if you will. This man straight up had grew diamonds out of certain parts of his body, and they were surrounded by diamonds. It was pretty dope. It was almost like a mega evolution of some sort. And because of this, Asta prepares to unleash what he calls his quote unquote ultimate move. Now, we don't know what this move is, so of course we're gonna have to move right along with what happens in this episode. So the heat that was emitted from the salamander basically nullified the magic attempts from Vanessa and Finral. They were trying to, do their magic spells and whatnot, and every time they made an attempt, the heat was just so strong that it basically just nullified what they were trying to do. You could see them actually, the magic was actually coming out, but it was almost like the magic itself would just melt in place. Even when Finral was trying to use his spatial magic, I was like, what? How can the magic be that strong, that powerful, that hot, that it's just gonna just totally cancel out someone's attempt at doing something magical? That's OD. All right, that's crazy. I thought that was awesome. All right, that's how strong the salamander is. Real rap. Okay. So then Noelle comes in. All right, because before Noelle's shown within the forest trying to put out these fires, but every time she would throw some water on any of the fires, they would just literally reignite, which is obviously that doesn't make sense, but again, that's how strong and powerful this fire actually is coming from the salamander. So instead of just trying to put out the individual fires that was around her, she figured, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go to the source, which is a very smart move on her part, and she saves them with her water creation magic. I forget what it was called, but it was the same magic that I think they had to use to get to the underwater kingdom or temple. I forget what that was called. And then so she sees how big the salamander is, and she tries to amp herself up, but she's interrupted by her own flashback moment of her siblings talking down on her. Until, of course, she hears Asta believing in her. Asta's like yelling at her, being like, "You can do it. We believe in you. You know, like you the best. Like we the best. Like, you know, like Asta was letting her know, you know, reminding her." So then Noelle, of course, she whips out the sea dragon's roar. And at first, it looked like it missed. Fauna manages to dodge it, but Noelle didn't give up, and she managed to curve it around and back to basically attack Fauna, which then subdued, I guess, both Fauna and the salamander at this point, because the salamander looked like it was kind of down for the count. And then, this is the part where Asta and Finral, it was their turn to, you know, have some limelight, and it was their turn to come in strong, all right? So Fauna uses the mineral creation magic to defend herself, which at this point they were shocked because it was already believed that she could only do fire creation. But the fact that she did mineral creation was just like, hold up, why can you do multiple magic? A bit like that's not supposed to happen. And Asta, of course, recognizes this spell from his battle with Mars during Season 1. And this is when Asta starts to piece the puzzle together. Okay? Now, I noticed that some of you guys did say, correct me earlier, about Fauna and Mars not being brother and sister. That's my bad. That I think I said that based on what I'm about to say, that Asta asks right here and now. And then, of course, Fauna whips out recovery magic, the same kind that Mars did. So, of course, at this point, Asta asks if she had a brother with a pale face and spiky hair, because he figures they must be related if they're doing the same damn magic. And at this point, again, Fauna has another flashback moment, and she remembers but denies it. And she says the only siblings that she should have are Lich and the people of the village. So again, I'm sorry for the confusion. That is the reason. That's the only reason why I thought that they were actually brother and sister, because of what Asta said. So it kind of threw me off. Apologize for that, and sorry for the confusion. Finral and Vanessa question the special move that Asta keeps mentioning because he hasn't done it yet, and he goes, "Oh, okay, bet." He describes it as a move that has him charging through the air at a super fast speed with his sword out in front of him. And I put LOL because I was just like, okay, so it's basically just like your average, like, strike. Like, so the move was then performed with the aid of Vanessa's thread magic and Finral's redirection. So basically, he used the redirection. Obviously, he is a spatial magic user. And in case he was, you know, to be dodged or they got out the way, Finral would be there to make sure that he had a portal open, so that way he could just put Asta right where they needed him to be, which is exactly what happened. And here comes the bull thrust. My man Asta goes right through the salamander clean, straight up clean, okay? No ifs, ands, no buts, no nothing. The salamander got deleted and became obsolete at that point. Because, like I said, clean cut. Straight through salamander, GG, right? And at this point, Fauna has a memory glimpse occur and sees Lich. She sees Lich destroy the village. What looked like destroyed the village. So Lich did it. And that is literally how they end the episode. Again, an amazing episode. Lots of action. It was like so good from start to finish, and they leave us off on a freaking amazing cliffhanger with this memory that Fauna just whips out of nowhere because, you know, she got her ass beat. So that's normally what happens with people. They discover the truth once they get their freaking ass beat like hard enough, right? So they go in. I'm sorry. So she sees a glimpse occur. She sees Lich and what looks like to be her village in complete destruction. And again, like, man, I just can't wait to see how the story develops. So the preview, page number 60, they called the episodes pages in the Black Clover because, of course, Grimoire is a nice reference to the books, is called Defector's Atonement. And it looks like Mars and Vadros will face off with Zell. and then it looks like we're gonna get some more flashback scenes with Mars and their old village. So I'm actually looking forward to episode 60 for sure, because simply for the fact that, hey, my man Zell is out here. He's gonna, hopefully give us a little history lesson on how he knows Vadros and how he knows Mars, and then of course at the same time we're gonna get some backstory on Mars. So to wrap it up, these last 3 episodes that I watched today, guys, I've been missing out for real, because all the stuff that I've been having to take care of outside that's been preventing me from even just simply watching these episodes in the first place. Literally, I have been missing out. So I'm glad that I finally got around to watching them. I thought these episodes were great. I literally love where where this whole narrative is going. Like I love how there's all these things going on at once. There's so many things that I want to know. Like I want to see what happens with Fauna. I want to see what ends up happening with Zell's matchup against Mars and Vadros. And I definitely want to know what happens with the Queen of Witches. Like, what's she going to do? Who's she going to fight? And if, there's going to be any kind of team ups, and then is she going to give us any kind of history lesson about Asta's sword? Maybe she's going to tell Asta something that could potentially unlock an ability that he doesn't even know that he could do, which might end up being a demon form. I'm not sure. Who knows? We're going to have to find out and wait and see. But, whew, man, Black Clover was definitely a doozy. Yeah, guys, it was, if you look right here, these are some of the images that I was able to pull from Google, of course, because Google's the OG. And look at the salamander. The salamander's OD. I don't know if you can even see my mouse, but yeah, I don't think you guys can see my mouse. That sucks. Okay, my bad. But moving right along, let's get right into the Boruto reaction. Boruto review. Now, this time around, I didn't miss out on 3 episodes. I don't know why. There was only 2 episodes that I missed, but hey, that's fine. So I only had to do episode 81 and 82. All right. So without further ado, guys, we're just getting right into this one so that we could, end the stream within a good amount of time, because I don't want to keep you guys all here all day. All right. So episode 81. Titled Boruto's Wish. Now, Boruto must be dreaming, because they start off with a scene where it's him and Mitsuki, and they're doing stuff, and of course he definitely was dreaming. Sarada believes that they should return to the village because at this point there really isn't anything that they could do, because Boruto's out here knocked out unconscious. It's only her, Shikadai, Chocho, and Inojin, and Mitsuki left. He's with his new group of ninja, I guess you could call them that. And then Shikadai suspects the Akuta to have some relation to the land of the earth. So, of course, my man Shikadai did not fall far from the tree. Of course, from my man Shikamaru, shout out to Shikamaru, the O-Jizzle. All right, he, of course, thinking down to the wire, always coming up with the strats, all right? And Nojin discovers a baby Akuta nearby, which leads Shikadai to then say he thinks that they should bring it with them, since it's smaller than the others, and it seems to have taken a liking to a Nojin. It definitely did. And it's kind of weird, because it's like this Akuta was just born, because it was acting like, once it saw a Nojin, this was its mother or something. It was, trying to hold his hand. It was jumping all over him, trying to play, all this kind of stuff. Kind of cute, But again, it was a little alarming at first, because of course it was an Akuta, so they didn't know. They didn't know what the hell to expect. So moving along, Boruto has an inner moment or dream, couldn't really tell, which we were introduced to Garaga. So this is along those lines of how Naruto used to have those interactions with Kurama. And then Garaga reminds Boruto of their bet, and their bet being that he would be able to eat Boruto if Mitsuki actually turned on him, and that was the end of the story. All right, and Nojin is spending time with the baby Akuta, makes it some choju gigas to play with, and then he ends up taking them out. So the Akuta right here, at first, started to play around, but ended up literally treating the choju gigas as they were targets. So then they make a training session out of it until it hits Enojin instead of the rabbit it was going to originally hit, because since this is like a baby Akuta, this thing doesn't know good or right from wrong yet. It's like I said, it is like a brand spanking new, fresh out the oven Akuta. Like, this thing does not know any kind of objectives. Doesn't have. And the funny part is, and I think this definitely has something to do with it. Now that I think about it, is that the Akuta's face, it looked like they're all wearing masks. The Akuta, right? So this Akuta has a cracked mask. So I feel like, you know, if you crack the mask, maybe they're not bad after all. I'm not sure. It's probably definitely because of the young age that this thing has. So again, it was going after the Choju Gigas, which is just fine. It's just Enojin's paintings and whatnot. But once it saw the rabbit, it was gonna, you know, try to take it out as well. But Enojin basically was teaching, you know, the Akuta, like, hey, like, you can't just take out a random animal like that. Like, that's wrong. So then back to Boruto's dream with Mitsuki and Garaga. Garaga believes that he only had friends to protect him, which is a very bold claim to make on Boruto. And then they begin to fight within this dream. So it's like, you know, it's just, imagine Garaga, big ass snake, just like trying to attack Boruto. Boruto's jumping around and avoiding everything. Boruto believes Garaga helped him realize what was paining him the entire time. At this part, they don't really reveal what it was. They kind of just leave us with that statement, and they just move right along to say that he was going to go after Mitsuki before falling down again. So he gets up, he gets his triumphant shonen self back up on his feet, and he's just like, and then he just falls. Because I guess he was still pretty hurt and beat up. Not from the dream, but, you know, just from Mitsuki, like, straight up lightning blading his whole life it was like 2 episodes ago. All right, so Boruto doesn't want Mitsuki to align himself with people that were so quick to attack their allies. And I quote, "If Mitsuki is going down the wrong path, I am going to drag him back, even if I have to kick his ass to do it." So, very reminiscent to Naruto and Sasuke, guys. And I think that they're basically doing this segment not only to just prolong the anime, so that way the manga can get farther ahead of where we're at currently, so that way, you know, once we get to those points, they're even farther beyond, so that way we don't even have to worry about there being any kind of overlap. So that way, at that point, we'd really be getting fillers, because right now, technically, these aren't really fillers, because this is all happening before the events that take place in which the manga decided to skip, I guess in this you could say skip to, since they went from the movie arc to where they went directly after that. For us, it was the movie arc and then all of this stuff that's happening right now. So, like I said, I feel like they're giving us this similar scenario that like Naruto and Sasuke had, you know, through all of, you know, vanilla Naruto and Shippuden. And they're doing that with Boruto and Mitsuki, kind of just to like for them to have something to do and to pretty much get it out of the way, because I think that whole scenario is really not going to be a thing in the future of Boruto. That's just me. That's just my opinion. That's what I think. I could totally be wrong. They could totally do something like that, similar with like Denki once they get to that point. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. So then they plan to head to the land of the earth and possibly seek help from the third Tsuchikage, aka Onoki, the old man geezer dude that always breaking his back when he's trying to, you know, do anything. Breathe, this man is on the floor. But not anymore, because he got like a really high-tech wheelchair. And then they end the episode with Boruto saying, "Wait for me, Mitsuki. I'm bringing you home." So, really, I mean, it was a very slow episode, not gonna lie. It was very dialogue heavy. Again, it was a lot more build up and setup than anything else. Understandable. The only kind of action we really saw was what was taking place in Boruto's head in his dream when he was like knocked out, because you know, he had like the altercation with Garaga within that point in time. But again, we're definitely getting somewhere with this whole arc, and I am really interested to see how this whole thing like plays out, because of course, obviously, we all know that, you know, it's gonna end with Mitsuki coming back at some point. But the question is how and why he chose to do what he did. Like, he said he went on his own will and blah blah blah, and and we're gonna learn a little bit more as to why, or just not why, but just Mitsuki's involvement altogether in this new group that he's a part of in this next episode, which I thought episode 82 was actually hella dope. So we're gonna get right into that one. So this is the last part of my review, and then that's going to be it for you for this right here, okay? So episode 82 is entitled Infiltrating the Hidden Stone Village. So they decide to leave Inojin behind with the baby Akuta, because of course they're afraid that it'll, bring some unwanted attention to them. So if he thinks anything bad happens to them, this is the Shikadai instructing Inojin. He says if he thinks that anything bad happens to them, that he should return to the Leaf Village with the Akuta. All right. And then we see Konohamaru back at the village. They have a whole scene with Naruto, with Shikamaru, talking about like what's going on, how they have no contact with the Stone Village right now. And Konohamaru comes in. He requests to take on the mission to go to the Land of Hidden Stone, and then Naruto leaves it to him. Just to put it simple. All right. Konohamaru looks out at the, and I thought this part was hella cool. I thought it was super dope. I was like, oh man, this is interesting, okay? Konohamaru looks out at the village atop his grandfather's stone face, the third Hokage, for those that, having a brain fart, before putting on an Anbu Black Ops mask, and then just straight up just leaves. Boy, I never thought I would ever see my man Konohamaru wear a freaking Anbu Black Ops, man. Like, I thought that was hella cool. So back to Inojin. Loses the Akuta for a second, then finds him by a dead rabbit, or what I thought looked like a dead rabbit. So then Inojin gives the rabbit a proper burial and shows the Akuta how to pray for it before heading out in search for food because Inojin was hungry. So, again, more examples of the connection and the relationship that Inojin was that he's building with this Akuta. And at first it's funny because he didn't want anything to do with it, and he hoped that like the Akuta would kind of get lost, so that way he didn't have to really worry about it or care for it. But naturally, humans will, they, whether they want to or not, after a while they kind of have they form some kind of bond or some kind of relationship with whatever it might be. And in this case, Inojin's pretty much like teaching the Akuta the way of the good, and who knows what might happen soon with these Akuta later on. Boruto and company make it to the Hidden Stone village wearing brown robes to fit in with the village's aesthetic. Shikadai believes in wait, hold on once. What? This doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. Shikadai believes that even though everything seemed peaceful, the group they were looking for may be an illicit group that has no ties with the village itself. So pretty good deduction by Shikadai, if I don't say so myself. Chocho's stomach then starts to growl so loud that everyone around them hears it. And I personally thought she was farting, because I was like, there's no stomach out there in this world, even in anime, that just sounds like you're straight ripping ass. Like, I'm sorry. If you're going to fart, you fart. But your stomach is not passing gas, okay? Like, that's OD. Like, the stomach growling was crazy. I was like, okay, this is not stomach growling. She is ripping. I mean, you see all them potato chips she eating? Of course she have to pass some gas. But, okay, whatever. They want to call it, they wanted to call it, her stomach was growling, okay? So her stomach was growling so loud that everyone around them hears it. And then it causes a scene which I guess lurking in the shadows, we see Akatsuchi, which is the Tsuchikage's brother. So then, of course, moving on, they stop at a food joint, and they end up talking with the owner, which the owner then gives them the third Tsuchikage's whereabouts, where he's at, where does he stay, where his residence is. All right, and then back to Inojin, we see a small scene, very quick. Inojin decides that he's gonna give this Akuta a name, so he writes out 4 names on in the dirt, and he goes, okay, it's you choose your fate, what name you want. So basically, he kind of just hovers over each one individually. And Inojin would repeat the name out loud, and based on the reaction of the Akuta, he could tell if he liked the name or not. And like the last name, which of course makes the most sense, was Akun. And the Akuta loved it, so now we can stop calling the Akuta, we call him Akun, all right? So A-K-K-U-N, all right? And right before approaching the house, so we're going back to the Land of the Stone already, okay? Like I said, it was a short scene. Right before approaching the house, they were stopped by the Tsuchikage's brother, Akatsuchi, right? He informs them that she was taken, the Tsuchikage, and that they were expecting them to arrive at the village. So their appearance and attendance was expected by them. So they technically didn't even have to sneak in. They could have just knocked on the door and been like, hey, what's up? All right? So then they finally meet with Onoki, and they ask for his help. So he first starts by saying he didn't think that they would come all this way, and he then decides to not help them and asks Akatsuchi if he can see them back to the Leaf Village. And I was like, wait, why though? Because I was like, he had this whole nice interaction with him, and when he showed up at the Leaf Village, and it was really cool to even see like this whole generational passing of the torch. I mean, he didn't pass any kind of torch, but just to see the interaction between Onoki, he's an ancient ninja. Like any day now, he's not his days are pretty numbered. Like the fact that he's still alive is a testament to how long he has like how long he's been around for. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was really it's crazy that he's still alive to this day right now, and the fact that he had he pretty much formed a little connection with Boruto. It was a shock that he all straight up just denied him altogether. And as soon as this happened, he started to he basically just wheeled off. Like he wheeled off, up a ramp and to this overlook of the village and nice sunset background. And then out of nowhere, these random wild Akuta just appear, surrounding the group entirely. And I was so lost. I was like, what? Like, how could this happen? Like, blah, blah. Guys, they got me. They got me good because I was not ready for this freaking plot twist. Out of nowhere comes the leader of the group that Mitsuki's a part of. And he bows before Onoki, removes his mask, says the test subject is ready, then proceeds to call Onoki master and father. And I'm like, what the hell? And we are left with this image right here. 1 second. Let me just... Okay, not that one. I should have had this one on the entire time. My bad. But we are left with this one. Oh, freaking evil Akatsuki ass Onoki. He is looking hella pissed. Like, who changed the channel? I was watching Telemundo. I was watching my old people network. Why you changing the channel? I'm about to whoop this youngin' ass. Like, look at his face. He is mad. And all they say is... All he says within the preview of episode 83, which is titled Onoki's Justice, okay, this is for your sake. This is all for the sake of peace. Now, what exactly does this mean? I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, right after this. Boruto then demands that he return Mitsuki to them, and I quote, "That is something I cannot do." This is Onoki saying that. This is something I cannot do. And he also adds that Mitsuki's cooperation is crucial to their plan. And that is it. That is everything right here. We're now all officially caught up with Boruto, or I am, at least I just speak for myself. And really quick, my thoughts. Wow. For there not being, this was another episode that lacked pretty much any action at all until the very end. But I mean, I don't really consider I don't really consider Akuta making an appearance any kind of action. Like, it is what it is. But like, even just the setup within this episode had me like, what? Like, if an episode makes you like get out of your seat and just question like what the hell's going on, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I did not honestly foresee this happening. I did not like suspect Onoki to have some this kind of a role within this storyline. And I guess like looking back, it kind of makes sense because within any kind of story, there's always a purpose for why characters, items, things, terminology. There's always a reason why things are brought up. You know, why would they show this? Why would they mention it? And it's always because there's a reason. There's always going to be a reason why. They're not just gonna do it and, you know, not do anything with it. You know, that is just an example of poor storytelling. You know, a great example of this, and I'll never forget this. I actually mentioned it in like a recent video of mine when I was talking about the My Hero Academia catch-up that I just had. Simply put, in the beginning of Naruto Shippuden, they name dropped Madara like just subtly. It was Kurama when he was talking to Sasuke, and he's like, "Oh, you remind me of Uchiha Madara," blah 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 blah, and then they just went right back to, and then they just kept, you know, they kept it moving, right? Then you don't hear about Madara for a while longer after that, but the fact that Kishimoto name dropped him meant that he was going to play some kind of role later on within the story. So at that point in time, of course, we didn't know. And in these episodes, they already had like what, it was like a 1 or 2 episode portion where Onoki just straight up just visits the Leaf Village. And after this, we, like, you know, because everyone's treating this as just simply filler. And that's where I think it threw a lot of us off guard, because we're not really giving these episodes the respect that they deserve. I mean, I'm not saying I am giving it no respect. I've been trying to put out there for anyone that watches my content is simply that they really should not get into the habit of calling these episodes fillers, just due to the fact that they're not really overlapping with anything. You know, they haven't gone through the content that's included in the manga yet. They've only done the movie arc, and then they decided to do things that happen before the events that take place in the manga that happened after the movie arc. So everyone's just kind of overlooking a lot of this stuff, and a lot of people are probably not even watching these episodes. But unfortunately for them, they're missing out, because there's actually some really good stuff here. The fact that they showed Onoki and we didn't even suspect him and even guess that he would be the actual like mastermind behind all of this is really good, and it's really awesome. And I'm actually happy that this is happening, because like I was thrown off. And if you're thrown off, then that just means that they did a good job with telling the story. So I think it's really good. And as far as my speculation as to why he's involved, has something to do with a theory that I'm actually going to bring up now that actually might not even be true. This is just like, I kind of heard this like, I forget where I heard it, but it was like some kind of like random theory that is happening within Boruto that like, at least within the manga, because we haven't got there in the anime yet. So minor spoiler, there's a group that is basically like the new kind of Akatsuki. You can think of them as the Akatsuki, and I'm already forgetting what that name is. So I guess for the sake of spoilers, you guys don't have to worry about it, because I'm not completely spoiling it for you, because I'm not even telling you guys what the name is. I'm not gonna pretend like I know. So there it is. I forget. And basically, there's a rumor, or not rumor, but there's a theory, I should say, yeah, a theory out there that, oh, it's Kata. That's it. I'm sorry. So Kata is it was formed by Sasuke, and the reason behind that group, why they're even a thing, is so that way, like the idea behind it is so that the ninja world and everyone that's, you know, living this nice peaceful life don't get too soft, and it is to keep everyone on their toes and to keep everyone alert. And I think that even if that theory is wrong or not, I think that idea can be applied here. I think that Onoki, being in his old age, being that he's seen a lot. He's been in the last recent Great Ninja War, and I'm pretty sure, showing how old this man is, he was in the last Ninja War that happened before that. So this guy has a lot of experience under this belt. He's seen a lot of things. And of course, since they've been living in this time of peace across all of the villages, it's probably something that he's not really used to. And it's something that he doesn't want, the future generations of ninja to just go soft on everyone. I'm sure that this has something to do with making sure that all ninja, especially amongst his own village, are kept on their feet and always on high alert, and that at any point in time there could be an attack or something like that. And that's the thing, that's that's the idea, I should say. So because if you take his quote from the preview, he says, "This is for your sake. This is all for the sake of peace." Now, everyone has their own ideology and everyone has their own outlook on what their definition of peace is. Now, it's very odd and it's very rare that you see, a former leader of your village kind of just totally change direction here, with how they approach peace, So, again, that's pretty much all of my speculation. That's all of my thoughts on these past few episodes of Boruto and Black Clover. Guys, I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for listening this far in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, really quick, where did I hear that from? Kara run by a guy named Jigen. Yeah, so again, just because we are told that there is a character that is that is the leader, we thought that this group that Mitsuki is a part of was the leader, but apparently it's not. It's Onoki. Onoki's behind it all. The same thing could happen with Sasuke if that theory. Again, I'll say that again. Theory, if that theory is true. I'm just using that theory. I'm taking the idea of the theory and applying it to Onoki and this group that Mitsuki is a part of now. And what the plan is, what Mitsuki's cooperation, what they could be trying to do. Are they trying to basically create, ninja that are modeled after Mitsuki? Because Orochimaru did a pretty good job with creating such a being that he can perform all of these different jutsu. He's super strong, and he actually is so strong that he has to hold back. I think it has something to do with that. That's just my guess, just based off of what they've given us so far. Guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in. That's pretty much it. I'm going to go drink some water because my throat is dry as hell. Hope you guys enjoyed these reviews for both Black Clover and Boruto. That was episodes 57 through 59 that we covered for Black Clover, and episodes 81 to 82 of Boruto. So again, guys, if you have any kind of comments, concerns, or if you guys want to just, hit me up with any kind of conversational stuff, feel free, hit me up on Twitter. Definitely join the Discord, especially the Discord. And if you guys want to see more content similar to this, and you just want to keep supporting the channel even further beyond, then I would definitely consider becoming a patron today. And I'll see y'all next time.